Yeah, this morning I feel very drawn inward to just dwell in stillness. So one of the powerful prayers is the prayer to get clear. The Holy Spirit promotes healing by looking beyond it to what the children of God were before healing was needed and will be when they have been healed. Holy Spirit looks at the healed mind, can feel the truth from this, seeing the healed mind. The Holy Spirit is constantly seeing us as healed. God helps us to heal. Just call inward to the Spirit of joy, to a clear mind. And that can be a trap of trying to reach a state. And the desire to reach a higher state is beautiful. But the trying can be tedious. It's more an invitation to let your mind rest. Your mind rest by letting meaningless thoughts go. There is no effort. We release all the thoughts about the past and the future for now. Do it for now. We prefer the present. When the ego was made, God placed in the mind the call to joy. This call is so strong that the ego always dissolves at its sound. That is why you must choose to hear one of two voices within you. This is why you must choose to hear one of two voices within you. One you made yourself, and that one is not of God, but the other is given you by God, who asks you only to listen to it. So however many times we need to choose the voice for God and let our own thoughts go, however many times, come back. What else to do with your mind, with your time? The Holy Spirit is in you in a very literal sense. This is the voice that calls you back to where you were before and will be again. It is possible, even in this world, to hear only that voice and no other. Even in this world, it is possible to hear only the voice for God and no other. It takes effort and great willingness to to learn. We can cultivate the willingness to learn to hear only one voice. How beautiful. To use our will for that. And to keep doing that. And to stick to this willingness to hear one voice. We need to be like a gardener just weeding out the unhelpful thoughts. Keep seeing them and not buying into them, not falling for them. Say, no, I want to listen to the voice for God, the one I did not make. And that is actually effortless. He's saying it takes great effort. But it's more effort to live in the ego's world, to figure everything out. And it's not sufficient anyway. There are always mistakes, there are always confusion, nothing really flows. People interfere, situations. It's always something going on that confuses the mind. What if we take all that and just, that is what it is. We can just say, okay, that is what it is. I see it, but I listen to one voice. Just stay in the mind with the one voice. And this is how you release guilt. Because if you take responsibility for all this that is happening in the world, you get lost in that. You become some character inside this big maze that has to figure out something. And the role of the accuser you will meet in the maze. Have you felt accused by somebody, wronged, misunderstood? That's part of being lost in the maze. Feeling like you do everything wrong, or you keep stumbling, falling. And this is part of the self-concept, but this is the calling, to listen only to one voice, to stay outside of this mess and watch it. Even to say, Holy Spirit, use this mess and show me how to heal my mind through it. Then actually the pieces fall into place and it can look pretty neat for a while. It's a happy dream coming in. And it can feel pretty flowing. The characters that come and go in purpose. There is an experience of connection and purpose in everything. This is the way back. The beginning of the happy dream. And he says, yeah, the happy dream will last for an instant. From the perspective of the eternal, the happy dream is short, you know, and something even happier comes after. Complete experience of atonement, of oneness. There is no personal aspect in that. But he's saying we don't need to talk much about that, because now we have a lot of work to do with the mind, the deceived mind, separated mind that is lost in the maze or has been lost in this mess of the world. And one of the most helpful things I was told early on was, don't figure anything out. Don't try to figure out the spiritual awakening or the mess and try to figure out anything. And that's very freeing. That helps us listen to one voice. It's not on you. Release that heavy burden of responsibility. And any area where there is guilt is just a call to look deeper, for clearing, for releasing the guilt. When the ego has relationships, quote, relationships, they are guilt-filled. But a clear mind that is free of guilt can speak clearly, even to the separation, even to the misthought. The higher voice can direct you on how to navigate, what to say, and when, and to whom. The guilt can sometimes show up as characters, as people. And then we get to practice with them. Maybe say no sometimes, maybe say no often. I had to do that. I don't have time for you because I wanted to clear my mind. I wanted a clear mind, not a guilty mind. It feels responsible and owing someone always. Jesus says you do have an indebtedness to your brother. You owe your brother not anything in form, not your body, not showing up as a daughter or son or mother or brother. You don't owe them anything like that. You owe them to accept your capital as self. That's what you owe. Not just these special characters, but the sonship in its entirety. Whole world, the whole sonship. You owe that you accept the atonement for yourself, that you take your steps of awakening. What a beautiful gift to yourself and to them. And this may include sometimes saying no to specialness, special relationships, where this ego debt is felt, where you feel responsible, you feel like you get sucked in. So we put those on the altar, those relationships on the altar, those people where it sometimes feels tough. Holy Spirit likes to give us miracles when we practice listening to one voice. When we say no to ego thoughts, we will start to experience miracles, flow. Sometimes we want to take a leap of faith. Like, look, I took this leap of faith to fly over here from Japan. And that was a very big leap of faith to follow Spirit's guidance. Very rewarding, very healing just to say yes to the step. Sometimes we get many opportunities. Sometimes we are conscious of saying no to them. And that's never so helpful. If we consciously say no to guidance, guidance is there to help us release suffering, release this prolonged experience of time. So if we have guidance, we do well to follow it. That brings us safety, that brings us joy. And if we don't hear or feel clear guidance, it's just a time for more stillness, more inward looking, releasing compromise. What a beautiful opportunity. And we're just here to release any guilt, any misperception, get clear. Does anyone have anything you'd like to lift up today?
I just love to sit in your presence. I love that, the stillness. I love that. I think I did too many practices, and they are getting more and more and more, and I have to sort out. And now it was releasing to just sit in the presence with you. You're so loving, the whole group. Thank you.
Thank
For
you.
being here. That's beautiful. And that's often all we need, just to sit in the stillness. And the Spirit is very present, and it's okay to put things on the altar.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel really deep in an old pattern, and I'm very unforgiving of myself for having that again.
Maybe it's just unworthiness.
Yeah, I think it's my responsibility. The things with the dogs, timings, all that thing, and it's all just spinning around in my head.
It's to let the world of illusions serve awakening, not the other way around. Bring illusion to the truth. Don't try to bring the truth to illusion. So yeah, don't imprison yourself by the functions and the tasks you have. It's about a healing all this guilt that has been projected onto the form.
That's my prayer.
Yeah. We could just take a couple more minutes. Stillness in the mind. It's been good to join you today.